to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again in a Saturday evening, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And joining me tonight, filling in for my normal co-host, you've been on this once, haven't you?
A different podcast.
Is my wife Sharea.
I don't do Tarver justice, I promise you that.
You're not full of gun knowledge, ready to spout off government hate speech. No,
I don't have his caliber of expertise.
He just likes to talk a lot. He's going to listen to this and call me out on that. So, and we got special guests with us tonight. We have Hillary and
Josh.
And we're just going to get right into it. We'll save the small talk for afterwards. You guys, I appreciate you coming out, giving me some of your time.
Certainly.
Scheduled this a few weeks back. So you had an experience that no one should have. What was it, a month ago, 2 months ago now?
Yeah, it was actually on January 1st.
January 1st. So before we get into that, I tell you what, just tell us about yourself, and I'm just going to let you talk. And if I got questions, I'll throw them out there. Tell us as much or as little as you want, and then you can just kind of get into what happened.
Sure.
And we'll just go from there.
Definitely. So, Todd, I was born and raised here in southern Idaho. Kind of grew up on the country, in the country, out on the farm. Definitely a daddy's girl. My dad was a law enforcement officer for over 40 years with the state police and with the county here in the local. And he made sure that we knew what we were doing when it came to our firearms. He made sure we were out shooting and, most importantly, the safety of all that.
Right.
And I feel like, by growing up, being so familiar, you lose that curiosity as a young child to just go play with the gun.
Yes.
And in the same token, when you have friends over that don't know about them, our house, there was guns everywhere.
Right. You take away the taboo, and then as soon as the parents leave, the kids aren't thinking, oh, there's something upstairs in the drawer or something in that safe.
It's the mystery of it.
It's the mystery. It takes the mystery away, so they aren't wanting to run and look for it as soon as the parent leaves the house.
Yeah, very much so. Because, like I said, we had them all over the house. We all had guns in our closets, and they were, they were everywhere, and we all knew they were there, but we knew they weren't toys, and we didn't touch them when mom and dad weren't home.
Right, and that's kind of the way we raised my kids too. We never had. Now, I'm not going to test that theory,
right?
But they really don't. If for some reason I have set my gun, which is in a holster on the table for a minute, usually they'll come, "Hey, Dad, your gun's on the table." Yeah, I know. Right. Thanks for letting me know. I'll pick it up. But I'm not gonna test it. I do leave it next to my bed, and they don't ever bother. But as soon as I get up and walk downstairs, I take it with me.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all about safety. So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're totally fine. But yeah, so definitely losing that curiosity, and then when they are handling those firearms, doing it in the proper manner.
Yes.
He made sure that we know you never point at anybody. Doesn't matter whether it's loaded or you're cleaning it or whatever. It's never pointed towards anyone. That was always like his big stressor, and I think that's the number one safety thing.
Well, yeah, it is. Nowadays there's a lot of kids watch a lot of video games and movies, and I'm not picking on them, but on the video games and movies, but really, if they aren't taught the correct thinking about firearms and the safety rules, all they see is that they're in that video game and they get shot and they're going to respawn.
Right.
They're watching that movie and that guy gets shot, and then 3 days later that guy is in another movie. So I kind of think that takes if you shoot someone, bad things are going to happen. People don't come back from that.
Right.
All the time. And so they just, in their brain, it's like it doesn't click. It's like the reality of it's not there. It's not real.
Yeah. The kids anymore, they're thinking video games are the way it is in real life, and it's just gets too much.
Oh, yeah. No, very much so.
They're not taught the right way.
Right.
But I grew up very familiar with guns, and we've done the same thing with our kids as they've grown. We don't quite leave them all over the place like my parents did or my dad did.
Well,
Right.
That's debatable.
But they're still, there's still
during hunting
guns all
season,
over.
guns tend to be
pretty
left
accessible.
around.
Right. And I gotcha.
But again, it's just that knowledge, and we know that everybody is very knowledgeable in them, and they're not just going to go touch them.
Sure, no, and that's the way it should be. You hear those stories every probably one a month comes across. I'm kind of into those stories as far as I kind of keep an eye out for them. You see them all the time.
Yeah, very much so. And so here back in January, I've always been so aware of my surroundings.
Right.
And always very protective of myself. Mm-hmm. And I had gone to the gas station and went home, and I was getting out of my car in my own driveway. And I'd gotten out and went to reach in to grab my purse. Mm-hmm. And when I stood back up, there was a guy standing just right there to my right-hand side.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Was it dark at the time?
It was dark. And unfortunately, that was the way our house sits. It was not facing towards the front of the home, and it's a very dim area. Now it's not. Now I've got floodlights that are on as soon as it gets dark.
Yeah, gotcha.
But yeah, it was really dark in that area. So the gentleman then proceeded to grab me and just repeatedly hit me.
Right.
I was able to just fight back and struggle with him. Because I don't know at this point what the motive was.
Right. Lot bigger guy than you.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, you're not a very big gal anyhow.
No, but he was. Yeah, he was bigger than me, and he was just very strong.
Gotcha.
At that point, my gun was actually right in the car, right under my car seat.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't even gotten it out yet to take it inside.
Gotcha.
But I think even at that, he was so on top of me, there would have been nothing that would have benefited.
Right. I was going to say, even if you'd been carrying it even on your person, you get someone on you and they trap your arms or whatever they do. Right. You can't get a firearm out. Yeah. I mean, you just can't. And I read the post that you allowed me, and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
That thing got so many miles.
I'm so thankful though, because that was the reason I posted it.
Right.
I wanted that awareness.
And people were, you should have had a gun. That's why I carry. Well, the gun's not, I mean, I like guns. Don't get me wrong, but the gun's not the end all be all of absolutely everything. No. It just is not. And it's great, but in your situation,
there would have been absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And unless I would have had it like in my hand, cocked and loaded, like ready to go,
right.
Safety off.
Right.
And even then, who's to say that, I would have got one or two shots off and he would have got it from me.
Right. No, I hear you. So interesting.
Pray to God that wouldn't have happened, but.
Right. Interesting fact. There's a gentleman that I didn't even know from before this. He was commenting on that post. And he has actually since been in touch with me, and he lives down kind of in the Pocatello area. Okay. I don't know if you've read all those comments or not.
I haven't read all of them.
There's a lot. There's a lot. And he was talking about how, hey, look, she had a firearm, but she was unable to get to it. But he's like, people don't understand there's still stuff that they can do. And this guy actually teaches different classes. His name is Jared Carnes, I believe. And he's actually going to come up this summer and do hopefully 3, at least one, we'll see how it goes, classes on, it's going to be with a firearm, but then there's a good portion that's probably 80% of the class is how to, like close quarters combat type stuff. Right. Not full on like fight, but how to, like in your situation, for example, how to block
defense moves.
Defense, how to like break holds and different things like that. And I've talked to him extensively on the phone. And he says it's really interesting because you can get really big guys, and you can pair that guy up with a little gal such as yourself, and how if the woman knows what she's doing, she can drive that guy around, and right. She can the smaller person can actually take the bigger person. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to come out and do that this summer. I'm really excited for that, but something like that might have even helped you a little bit.
I think so. And I actually had several people local here reach out to me,
right?
In the like Taekwondo community,
sure.
And some in the jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out and offer some free classes, which I'll be utilizing now that I'm physically getting healed again.
It's
still,
I get it.
I'm almost there completely.
That's good. That's good.
And so once I'm there, then I'm definitely going to utilize that. And in fact, our one daughter has already been taking some self-defense classes. I think it was Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So.
Good. So, have they found the guy? Have they?
Initially we kind of thought it might have been somebody that I'd run into at the gas station. End result, it was not that gentleman.
Okay.
And so in a way, I mean, that's good. I'm glad that was cleared. We know definitively it was not.
Sure.
But then that leaves us with no leads.
With no leads at all.
And so they've started talking to neighbors that have cameras kind of facing the other directions to see if they can see anybody walking. Because I never did see a vehicle. So we don't know if they were walking or if they had walked up from around the block.
So you had noticed no headlights following you or anything like that?
No. And it was just one of those things. You get out of your car at home and you just...
He was a lurker.
Well, yeah, you just don't think about it. And he had to have been fairly close because it didn't take me long to shut the car off and get out and reach back in, so he had to have been close.
And it's amazing how people can just kind of all of a sudden be there. So I like to run, and I get up early and I'm out running, and you probably see my posts.
Yeah.
I get out early and I go run in the dark, but I go park in kind of a lighted area, and I'll be there, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be sitting in my truck getting, my hat on and all that stuff, and I'll get out, and all of a sudden someone's there.
Yeah.
And it's usually just someone walking or another person running, because there are more than just, I'm not the only weirdo out there that likes to do that early in the morning. But they just show up out of nowhere, and they're just silent, and they aren't even trying to be silent. So if a person's really trying to lurk around and sneak up on you, that's crazy.
If you're not consciously like listening or paying attention, thinking, oh, is somebody there?
Yeah,
you're not going to think about it.
Yeah.
It's like all this happened, and we were sitting right in the living room and didn't hear a thing.
Oh, wow.
So, we were sitting there watching TV, but
so what,
nothing.
What happened? Did he just do what he wanted to do and then just took off running, or?
Well, yeah. And so I was on the ground, and he's punching me in the side of the face. And I was kicking and trying to scratch and do everything that I could.
Anything possible.
Anything, yeah. And he did just kind of all of a sudden got up and just ran off. And where I was at, I'm not even sure which way he went, because the way the bushes were and the car was.
Like he had fulfilled some need.
Yeah,
and just took off.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was, oh, wait, this isn't going to meet easy target
right
thing.
Because you were fighting back the best you could, or however you could.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know if it was just, oh, wow, this isn't going to meet easy target like I thought.
Right. So it was kind of dark. Do you think? And I'm asking a lot of do you think questions? I just don't even know. But do you think he was? The area is getting full of. More and more people are moving in. Do you think he was like homeless? Do you think he was a vagrant? Do you think he was just drunk or high?
I think that he was probably on something.
I was going to say, did he say anything to you at all?
Not a single.
And he didn't steal anything.
Didn't steal anything, and did not say a single word.
Didn't act like
anything.
Because he even had you out of your car.
Yeah.
So he could have just taken the car. That's
yeah. That'd have
been a quicker getaway.
Still sitting there, and yeah, very much so. But it didn't take anything. It didn't say a word.
And you said the neighbors never have seen anything.
No. And we're in a good neighborhood.
Right.
We're in an area right by the elementary school, right by the new high school. We're in a good area over there. There's just not a lot of crime and stuff going on. You don't see weird people running around at night.
But it happens.
It does.
And a lot of people over in that area go to bed earlier, so
yeah,
their lights are all off. And 9. And this was about 9:30. So
that's late.
So
I go to bed. I go to bed at 8. What are you talking about?
9 o'clock. I'm dying.
Yeah, I had some people come over last night at 7, and I was just like, it was a buddy of mine. I think you saw the video.
I saw that.
Yeah, I've got the welts to prove that, but it was good. But time he left, I was like, I'm so tired.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know what the motive was there. If he was planning on robbing me, if he was planning on raping me.
Right.
Or worse. He never used a weapon that I saw. I never saw any weapon. I didn't have any marks on me that were consistent with anything of a blunt edge or.
He didn't try to strangle you or.
No.
So how has this changed your? I don't want to say outlook, but has it changed the way you do things?
I've definitely been more aware.
Yeah.
Every step.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And there's definitely some, I'm still battling a lot of emotional things. There's good days and there's bad days, and there's days I can talk about it and be just fine,
Sure.
and other days where it's hard.
Oh yeah, almost like a PTSD type of thing.
Very much so. This was a stranger without reason, without
Right.
in my driveway.
And when you were least expecting, and that's when that's kind of stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. And we already talked about the firearm thing. I'm not going to jump on that, but it pays to be able to carry a firearm. This is where my mind goes, because this is what I do. It pays to carry a firearm and know how to use it. I know a lot of people that get their concealed carry permit, and they don't ever carry their firearm.
Right.
They carry it, but they don't ever fire it. They don't ever practice with it. And I'm not talking. I mean, hardcore train as much as you can, but at the very least, get out and shoot it and be able to try and access it, the best that you can. But there's so much more that goes with it. So you have the defensive, mindset.
Right.
And I think you probably displayed that really well from the sounds of it. So, you get into a defensive confrontation like that, or some kind of attack, and you fight back. You need to fight back like you mean it, because I tell everyone, and they kind of look at me funny, and I say, you need to fight like your life depends on it, because it does.
Because it does. Oh,
It-
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
It definitely depends on it. So you have to go in there, and you have to, if you can, you have to fight dirty. And it sounds like you were doing everything you possibly could. So I'm not knocking you on that by any means, but I tell everyone, you can't be a fair fight. If it's a fair fight, if you're trying to have a fair fight, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You need to be dirty. You need to kick to the groin. You need to, it's just, pocket sand. I mean, whatever you
It's
can
not
get.
like a bar fight. It's like, let's go take care of this like men outside.
Yeah, no, you're
It's not
fighting.
like that.
You're definitely, you're fighting for your life. I mean,
Yeah.
so.
And actually, also since then, we had a good friend give me a pretty cool little flashlight taser.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
so now when I've been getting out of my car, especially at
Have
dark,
it in your hand.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it right in my hand, ready to go.
Yes.
Because if anything, that's going to give me time to get away enough.
Right.
And then I had one friend send me a boot knife. Just everybody is like, man, there's so many tools you could use, and I'm like, sure, maybe in the right circumstance, yes.
You're like, who?
Yes.
When is someone going to meet
But-
me at the gun store and buy me a gun? Another gun.
Right?
gun.
Yeah, right. I'll take more.
Send some ammo this way.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But so you're just more aware, and
Oh, I bet.
I think that you definitely lose that sense of security, especially when it's at your home.
Make sure the doors are all locked at all
And-
times.
Oh, very much so.
We live out here in the country, and I've got my kids and everyone. As soon as we walk in, we lock the door behind
Yeah.
us. That's just what we do.
We also have cameras.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and we had cameras hanging, but we hadn't hooked them up yet.
Yeah.
You
They've
know.
been hooked up since.
That's good.
Yeah, now they are hooked up.
You can look at them from your phone.
Not
We
yet.
we haven't gotten them on the phone yet. But
Oh, that's
we've got
cool.
'em.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we got them right
Routers
there.
a ways away from the TV. So
Until that-
from the
Until that damn bird keeps flying by and like
Setting it off.
sending alerts to your phone.
We did have to move a camera for that.
Yeah. So no, we've got them at least going where they're recording on the outside of the house. So, that would have been great to have then,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
We
have it now.
You have it now. So we learn from things that happen to us.
Definitely.
So
What?
woman to woman, do you have any questions? Do you have any? I mean, you just listened to this. You heard the story of what happened. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was sitting here thinking about you
I don't know what
talking
that is,
about
by the way. I have no idea.
carrying and stuff, and people getting concealed carry permits and stuff. And we've had this conversation. And really, the motivating factor for me to have a concealed carry permit was because he carried.
Right.
And I, if he left it in the car or whatever, then I had a permit for it.
Look at the mic when you're talking.
But I am not, sorry, I'm used to looking at people.
I know. Sorry.
I'm not at the emotional point in my life where I feel comfortable carrying a gun 24/7. I have them at home. I know how to use them. That's fine. But I have small children. I have grandchildren.
Yep.
And to me, that is still not comfortable for me.
Right.
And so I have other things that I carry to
Certainly.
protect myself, but for the most part, I really don't go anywhere
But
without
your
Todd.
husband is a gun guy.
Right.
He is a gun guy. I know. Can you
I
believe it?
train people in this.
Yes.
We've been married 25 years, and this is still lasting.
I'll tell you, even back in the, when I first started, buying handguns and getting my concealed carry permit, I mean, we had this discussion. It was when we lived in Kansas, and you weren't against it, but you were like, it's not for me. And I think what I say to you, what are the lives of what are your children's lives worth to you? What would you do to protect your kids? Remember that?
Right. But in my head, I have other tools that I'm using to protect my kids.
Yeah, but anyhow.
Well, and I can see that.
What's
as
the fastest, easiest solution?
Right. But I can see that as a mom, and if you're not comfortable like carrying full time on your person, I mean, I could definitely see that. There's a lot of women out there that they go ahead and choose to carry even though they don't know what the heck they're doing.
Right.
And that's scary too. I think you posted a picture today about that.
Yes, I
that
did.
one about the right or the wrong way to carry.
I got some grief. I got some grief
man.
about that picture too. I had to go through there and I actually had to ban some guy, but
I was dying though. I'm looking at that going, how easy would that be to get off her
Yeah,
waist?
she was showing me that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, man,
How
you gotta be
easy
kidding
could you
me.
actually get to that if you needed to use it?
and how do you? I mean, did you see that picture?
I did.
I mean, she was hooked onto her yoga pants or
Yeah.
something.
It's like some leggings going on.
How
there.
how do you leave the house and think that's correct?
Yeah.
How do you leave the house and think that's safe?
Right.
The only thing that I could see, and it wasn't even good about the situation, but at least her holster had a little bit of retention, like it had a retention strap on it.
It
So
did.
when the whole thing fell off her pants, the gun shouldn't fall out.
Yeah. Hopefully.
It was just unbelievable.
I mean, and it's actually a really common situation you find though, and maybe they're not carrying quite that badly, but I
Right.
think there are a lot of people out there that are carrying and just not doing it correctly, and not maybe because they're not comfortable, but somebody is saying, "Oh, you need to do this."
Right.
And it really is a personal choice.
It is. I mean, maybe someone forced her to do it, so she's like, whatever, and she hooked it on her pants.
Maybe.
I mean, it could have been. There's so many different ways out there. There's so many I mean, I got boxes and boxes of holsters.
Right.
And there's so many different ways to carry, but yeah, some people were going.
There's many reasons why people don't carry.
I know. I know.
Nope, exactly.
I understand that.
Well, and that's kind of my search now. I'm kind of on the lookout for, a more comfortable holster for
Sure.
me,
What-
trying
what-
to figure out where I want to carry.
What do you
and
carry?
I have a 380, little Walther 380.
Little Walther 380.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, it's a fantastic little pistol. I just love shooting it.
Right.
I put about 90 rounds through it today. It was
do
nice.
you want to carry on your waist, or do you want to carry in a bag? What do you think?
I think I want to carry on my waist. 'Cause,
Okay.
I'm not one that typically will carry a bag with me.
Sure.
I'm not much of a girly girl. I have my little teeny purse, but it doesn't do much.
I will, and so, and and my wife will correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure of it. But for women to carry a firearm, I mean, whenever you carry a firearm, you have to make it's like a lifestyle. You kind of have to make sacrifices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of your not all of them, but there's a good portion of your holsters that are meant to carry on your waist, whether it be appendix or 3 o'clock, strong side, weak, whatever. But they all involve using a belt.
Right.
And women don't always have the most utilitarian type belts.
Right.
So I found, and it's one I used to actually carry when I would run. There is a company called, and I can send you a link later on.
Sure.
And I just think this is fantastic. It's called Crossbreed Super Tuck, but it's called a modular belly band. Okay. So have you seen it? You know what belly bands are?
Yeah. Yep.
They're the elastic, but your typical belly band is made of elastic and it's got like a pocket on it, which I don't feel like that protects the trigger enough because it's just a piece of elastic, right? And something, see, I don't like that.
Right.
But the modular belly band, what it is it's got Velcro on it in spots, and it's got like a Kydex shell made for your gun, and the backside of it is all Velcro. And so you put the belly band on wherever you want it. You can ride it high, you can ride it low. Wherever you want it, and then you can stick that holster whatever position you want, and then you take the tail of the belly band, stretch it over the top of it, and then Velcro it back on the other side of it, which
very
might
nice.
work out pretty
Yeah.
well. I actually used to carry that way to church and stuff, and I
Right.
used to run like that.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm looking. I'm thinking appendix is probably going to be most comfortable
Yeah.
for
appendix.
me. Yeah.
We like appendix. That's the way to do it right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. So, and I was looking at some of those belly bands, but where I've never done one,
Right.
like you just said, I I don't know the difference between the different ones.
I'll send
And
you a
so-
link. That is by far I think the safest belly band I have ever seen.
Fantastic.
Just because of that Kydex shell.
Yeah, that's really great.
And if you ever got another firearm, I believe you can just order
Just
a
the
Kydex shell. Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
it just sticks on. And what's really nice is you can stick it so you draw straight up, or you can cant it, or whatever you want.
Whatever you're
Which is
Side draw. Or,
it's pretty cool. So you do have to buy it right-handed or left-handed, but yeah, you could carry it on this side, you could carry it in the front, and I mean wherever. It's pretty slick. I used to carry a 45 shield in that, so your gun would probably fit in there perfectly. You just have to, and I would imagine they make them for that model.
I'm sure.
You just have to double check. But like I said, I'll send you a link
Yeah,
for
that'd
that.
be wonderful.
So now we got to go around the room. What do you carry?
I have a few. I have a 45 ACP Springfield.
Okay,
And
armory.
I have a Taurus Raging Bull 44 mag.
He doesn't carry that one except for when
No,
he's like,
no.
ready to shoot a bear on the
When we're
trail.
when we're out hunting, and I'm not really doing a lot of shooting except for protection.
Right, gotcha.
Those are the two pistols I have.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you guys went
45
out.
is nice.
You guys went out and shot them today.
We
Yep.
did. Yeah, it was fun. We were out there for about 3 hours. I mean, the weather
Oh,
was just
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
We ended up being in short sleeves and
Oh, did you?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
And I bought him. We got a new AK for Christmas. So
AR.
or a new
AR.
AR. Yeah, got him an AR. Sorry.
Hey, those
New AR.
You know what though? You have to get that right because those
I
are
know.
two separate crowds
totally are.
completely,
They are.
and
Completely.
they hate each other.
Yep.
Yeah, no. So he was
so
able
we
to go out and
Shot
play with
150
that.
rounds through that. And
Oh,
tried to
nice.
sight in my dad's 22 250. I think his scope screwed up, but
New scope, new optics.
Yeah, yeah.
so then my buddy's AR, we were shooting it too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So
I'm not. You know, I've got an AR, but I'm not a rifle guy. I shoot my deer with my deer rifle.
Right,
My
yeah.
AR's literally been in my safe for like 4 years.
Yeah.
yeah, she bought me this one, and I was like, she's like, I knew you'd never buy yourself one. I was like, you're right, I never would,
Yeah.
because it says it's not practical for me.
They're kind of
But-
fun to
but
shoot
it's-
though.
It
It
was
was
fun.
fun
It
just
was
to go
fun.
playing. He had a good time, and it was worth it.
So you-
You can never get it wrong whenever they're smiling like that.
Oh,
When
no.
they're unloading a clip. I mean,
No, yeah, no, that's the best thing in the world right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was shooting it, and he's like, after he got done shooting, he's all, how big is this clip? I was like, 30 rounds. He's like, yeah, I just kept shooting and shooting
Yeah,
and
just
shooting and
keep
shooting and
going
shooting. I didn't know when it was going to stop.
Yeah, just keep going and going, man. What kind of AR was it?
it's a Diamondback.
Diamondback.
Oh, my dad's got one of those.
5.56.
5.56. Yeah.
My dad's got one of those. You're fine. Just there you go. It happens.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
My dad's got one, and we put we got it for him for his birthday, and I put a scope on it, and now it's been like how many years? That was like 2 years ago, and he keeps hollering at me. You need to come out. I need to sight my scope in.
I just put my scope on today, and it was dead on.
Was it
Yeah.
dead on?
I didn't even
Yeah.
have to adjust it one bit.
What kind of
I-
scope did you get?
Oh,
Is
it was a red dot.
Yeah, it's
Oh, a little red
Red dot, yeah.
Leopold red dot. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So you did have fun today,
Oh,
then.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was. It's a
I really
good-
enjoyed that. It's been the first time I'd shot one, so I was.
Oh,
I
they're
was pretty happy.
They're
with it.
fun,
Yeah.
adjustable stock, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah. I was pretty happy.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're rounding up some ladies to take a class, huh?
I am actually, and I've been speaking with several of the ladies from my church.
Oh, perfect.
As well as a lot of the gals that I just am friends with.
I tell people it's more fun to
And-
take it with friends.
Well, yeah, and then actually some of the guys at church are interested too. So it may not end up just being ladies.
Oh, cool.
The list is starting to get kind of long.
You know what? You know, just when you find out for sure, just if you want to push it off till March or whatever,
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah.
And if you guys still want to all go shoot together, we can do it.
Yeah.
You understand what I was saying, though, right?
Right, yep.
If you come to the first half, then we can do the shooting portion another time.
On a different day.
And that
Yeah.
that totally works for me because then I can actually book more people for one class. And
Yeah.
anyhow,
Yeah, no, and I think that'll work. And I think I'd have plenty of people to be able to do a totally separate.
okay, a March class. I don't have my date yet. I'm going to be gone the second half of March.
Sure.
So it might be like the second Saturday in March, possibly. So if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to push it till April.
Well, if we have to do that.
But
we
I
do.
just thought I'd let you know. So
That's great. Yeah, I'm excited though. I think it's going to be great to have so many people that are willing and ready to learn. And that's the biggest thing. Some of these ladies, their husbands are like, "Oh, you should do this. You should do this," And I think just doing it and having that knowledge and shooting their pistols, because there's a few of them that just went and got a new pistol after all this happened in January.
They need to know how to use it then, for sure.
And so, their husbands took them out and bought them these new pistols. And so I said, if anything, I said, come and just do the class. I said, even if you don't carry on your person, come do the class. Like, gain that knowledge, come shoot your gun. Well, there's so much that you learn.
And, they take the class. Even if they don't want to carry, they can get the permit. I mean, you can carry without a permit anyway. But if you like to travel, you can get the permit. And then whether you carry or not, it gives you the option to even take your gun with you in reciprocal states. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the world anymore.
Oh, man.
And you could wake up one day and say, well, I think I want to carry. Well, now you got this permit. Oh, I think I'm going to go to Nevada. Well, you can carry because you got the permit.
Right.
It never hurts to get it. And it never hurts to, the very least, even if you don't want to go get the permit, take the class, because you learn Idaho lethal force law. So besides just the shooting portion, you learn Idaho lethal force law. What happens if you use your handgun in a self-defense, encounter scenario? What happens? What you have to go through with law enforcement. You learn defensive mindset. We talk about situational awareness. We talk about shooting safety. We talk about the basic shooting fundamentals. I mean, we talk about
cover a lot
defensive mindset. I mean, we kind of, it's like getting a drink from a fire hose.
Well, and didn't you say that you do have a law enforcement officer that comes in
as required by the state? He's the one that teaches the Idaho lethal force law portion, and
that's wonderful.
You just drill him with questions. I tell everyone, now's your opportunity. I'm paying him. He's here. Ask him questions.
Yeah,
he's been doing it with me for probably 5 years now. I think his nephew or cousin, his cousin did it for like 2. But he's been doing it with me for about 5 years, and there is not a question he hasn't gotten.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful though, because like I said, I will be having women come in with me that aren't, as savvy, maybe have not been shooting their whole lives or have shot some, but and like I said, even if you just come take the class, come get the knowledge. Get the knowledge and shoot your pistol, and
it's fun. We have a good time. It's a serious class, but we have a good time. I mean,
how could it not be fun?
Yeah, no, we really do. I wouldn't be still doing it after 7 years if I didn't have fun doing it.
We do. We enjoy shooting.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for him.
Sure.
Oh, we'll ask
whenever he comes in.
Ask him. Well, ask me. Maybe I know him.
We'll ask later.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. No problem. Yeah. Put him on the spot. Yeah. So, have you guys seen? Well, we like to do some news stories on here. You guys game for that?
Sure.
Are you done with your story?
Yeah.
I don't want to
so.
step on your.
Like
I appreciate that. I appreciate you talking about that. It just kind of get the message out there. We're not a huge podcast, but we have some listeners.
Like I said, bringing that awareness, that's just huge.
Right. And it's not just locally; it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable sharing with what was going through your head when it was all happening? I mean,
certainly.
This is why you're here.
Yeah, certainly, because I mean, those first few seconds, or it probably was not even a few seconds. Time just kind of holds still. But I'm like, wait, what is happening? Who is this person? I looked at him before he ever touched me, and at first I thought it was a gentleman I'd seen at the gas station.
Right.
That was the first thought in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I'm on the ground, all I could think of was just hitting and kicking, and then I was thinking about the kids, and I was thinking, God, Josh is just right inside. Like, why can't he hear me? Because I felt like I was screaming really loud.
Right.
I don't know that I was. I can't say definitively that I was, but I felt like I was. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm thinking of all these things about the kids, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What's this guy going to do? Am I going to make it out of this?
Right.
Yeah.
We talk.
Just fight.
Fight. That's all you can. So
that's what it was. It just fight, keep going.
Yeah, we talk about defensive mindset. We talk about the things that, at least with a firearm, and I think it comes across even if you don't have one, about the things that people can go through that they may or may not go through in the time of something like this. So we talk about, fight and flight and, and just giving in and giving up. And obviously you didn't give up. So that's good. You displayed, the fighting aspect of it. And then there's the other side of it where, oh man, I can't, you have adrenaline dump, you have loss of fine motor skills, you have, time slows down. You have where you can't hear anything else.
Right.
Because you're focused on the threat. You're focused on what is happening.
Yep.
And that's where all your energy is going. So everything else just kind of goes away. So did it seem like time slowed down to you?
Oh, for sure. Like I
mean,
said, it
yeah.
was like, that first few seconds, but I thought, well, it was probably all in a split second that I thought those things.
Right.
Just that quickly.
I mean, it's almost like a mental blackout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's how you survive.
Yeah. Well, and then I was just fight. And again, I thought I was yelling and screaming, but now that I'm thinking about it more, I don't remember hearing myself scream.
Right.
I thought I was yelling loud, but maybe it wasn't that loud. Maybe it was just in my head that I was screaming. You know, I don't know.
Well, there's I've watched and talked to plenty of people that have been shootings, or you listen to even law enforcement officers that have actually had to use their gun in a situation and they have to fire it. And it's after it gets all said and done, like right after, you'll talk to them and say, well, okay. And they'll say, well, yeah, I only shot 3 times. Mm-hmm. And then you'll find out they emptied their mag and they're just pulling the trigger after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and they just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You just lose track of everything. You just do stuff to do stuff. You're trying to stay alive. And that's
That's that blackout.
Well,
It
was
is.
able,
It is.
And after the guy jumped off me, I was able to get to my phone, and I called Josh, and I was still I had rolled over on the ground, I remember, and I don't even know how was I laying when you walked out, because I called Josh on the phone. I'm like, I need you outside, or whatever I said.
Yeah,
I come out. I don't remember.
Said you needed me outside, and you were crying. I was like, "What's going on?" You're all, "Just need you outside." And so I came out, and you were probably about 2 or 3 feet from your car in the grass. So
yeah,
I helped you up and said, "What's going on?" And kind of told me. I said, "Let's go inside." And you kind of were just in total shock. You didn't even know you wanted to be inside, and
I
finally got you inside, and
you just didn't really know. Yeah. You knew you needed to do something.
What was going on.
Yeah,
she was kind of pulling back away from me. I'm like, "Get inside. We got to go."
Yeah.
We can't do anything out here. Let's get inside.
And I'll tell you though, and I appreciate you talking about your story. I know it's probably a little hard for you. And I had a situation, this was a long time ago, years ago, where I actually had to draw my firearm. And I didn't have to point it at anyone, but I was out with my 4-year-old and actually had to draw my firearm because there's a bunch of crazy hill people out there or something, and they were walking up to me, and I was and I just drew my firearm. They saw the motion of my shoulder go up. They couldn't even see it because my car door was open between us and them, and they stopped, and this whole deal. They stopped and they left. But and I remember leaving there, and I got out on the main road, and I was shaking, and I couldn't. Even if I get really in depth and tell the entire story, I start reliving it again.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to finish that story.
No, it is. So, okay, let's hit some news stories and then we will wrap it up.
Sounds good.
For just a minute, we got one news story right here. It says a concealed carrier fatally shot while trying to defend himself. So this guy, he'd come outside. Someone actually had drawn a gun on him, and he tried to draw his gun. So you can't outdraw an already drawn gun. You can't. You're not going to be that quick. So, and as much as I want to be gun centric, just like we've talked about, just because you have a gun doesn't mean that the gun is going to be the answer, is going to save you. So in that way, maybe knowing a little technique to disarm or something like that would have come into play. So I tell everyone, train, be aware of your surroundings and be aware of what's going on, because if someone's already got a gun out, you're not going to outdraw it unless he's not paying attention, and you can get yours out. So, and one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up. And I usually irritate a lot of people when I do this because I like to take digs on different firearms and whatnot.
Sure.
So you guys follow new firearm news? Did you hear Glock came out with a 22 now?
I did hear that.
I did not.
And so what have you heard about Glocks? Glocks are supposed to be like the best guns on the planet, right?
Supposed to be.
Pretty indestructible and reliable.
Supposed to, reliable. That should be reliable. I haven't found anyone that's made a reliable 22 handgun. Okay, and so I kept talking about this over and over and over again, and it with my buddies and stuff, and I'm like, the Glock 44, the G44, it's gonna be awesome. I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. They're not gonna release something that's garbage. Well, I'm going to play just a short little clip here, and sounds to me like the guns have been out, I don't know, maybe a month, and they're having a few issues like them blowing up in people's hands.
Oh my God.
And some other stuff. So let me play this little clip here.
Hey guys, today's video is on the ever popular, and I should say newly popular, Glock 44 and 22 long rifle. The reason why I'm a couple of days late getting a review out to you guys, because many of you have asked me, what's up, where's the pistol at? We know you're doing a review on it. Why haven't we seen anything? Truth be told, I was a little perplexed because this gun comes with the tag of perfection just like every other Glock, and I actually filmed the review Monday. I had many malfunctions. Now, it was all ammo related. However, if you look inside the instruction manual that comes with every single Glock, usually there is a blurb or two that says something specific to ammo, if ammo is potentially an issue. If nothing else, it gives you a heads up that, hey, we're not saying that it cycles and everything. And Glock kind of does touch on that, to be honest with you. Glock does make mention that, and I'm paraphrasing here, of course, that not all ammo may run properly, whatever. Their legal jargon behind it. However, I felt like it should have been more specific. And the reason why I say that is because there are so many varieties of 22 long rifle, and I found that certain varieties and certain bullet grain weights were where we had the most issues at a couple of days ago. So I felt like I would just, scrap that whole other review because of the knowledge that I already had, and quit trying to act like I didn't know if the gun was going to malfunction, because I knew that it was.
There you go. He knew that the gun was going to malfunction. Glock is not the end-all, be-all of everything. They can't make a 22 work. I kept saying this from the beginning. With their credibility, with their history, if they're coming out with this 22, that thing better run, and it better run good, or this was going to be not good for them. And I'm gloating. I'm just gloating because I think it's fantastic. I called it. I think it's fantastic. There is 122. I think it does has had a few problems, but the best defensive style 22 I've come across is made by Taurus, of all people. The Taurus TX22. Have you ever messed with one of those?
No, I haven't. I've seen them though. Fantastic
little gun. We've got one my buddy uses, and he uses it, or he brings it to class. And we have people use it. We put 1,000 rounds for that thing, and it's had like one malfunction. And that does not happen with, if you know handguns, that does not happen with 22 handguns.
I should just get a revolver.
Yeah, unless you get a revolver. Yeah,
I like my revolver.
Yeah, I hate your revolver.
They're kind of like your old trusty, the revolvers. They're almost always going to be okay.
She's got a Smith & Wesson Ultralight 38 Special, and that thing, it's horrible. It's like holding on to a sledgehammer with a steel handle and then beating it against something and then go through your hands. I cannot. She shoots the heck out of it. I hate that gun.
I have little hands.
Yeah, I don't mind shooting it. My mom has one, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
That was supposed to be my carry gun until I saw the video where the fire comes out of the barrel as it's.
No, it comes out of the. She's talking about the cylinder.
Yeah,
cylinder gap.
Sorry, yes.
Not the muzzle flash. So the cylinder gap, and that's kind of scared her a little bit.
And I'm like, I don't think I want that to be my carry gun anymore.
So I can't stand that gun. But anyhow, let's wrap this up. I appreciate you guys showing up.
Very much. Thank you for having us.
No problem. I'll when I get this done, probably sometime tomorrow. I don't know when. I have a class in the morning, so sometime tomorrow I'll send you a link if you guys are interested. Yeah. But I like to end by letting everyone know that thank you for listening to the podcast. If you can actually find us on Stitcher, you can find us on iTunes, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on our YouTube channel, you can find us on many other podcatcher apps that I don't even know about. If you have any comments, questions, you can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. You can also email me, patriotdefense13 at Yahoo. Patriotdefense13 at Yahoo. You can also find the website, patriotdefense13.com. You can hit the contact button, contact me there. We want all feedback, good, bad, ugly, negative. Get off the air. You don't know what you're doing. We'll take it all. share it with your friends, make them like it, make them subscribe. I want you to listen to it, but I really care about those subscriptions. So do that, and I will see you next weekend. Thank you. Bye.